I am terrible at video games. So I decided to take 7 days of my life and do nothing but play Civilization 6, all in hopes of going from a complete noob to beating it on ultra hard deity mode and baffling one of the world's best players in a head-to-head competition.
You're a cheating son of a bitch. How dare you bait me into this and try to make me look bad in front of your fans.
Why would I put myself through this torture? 7 days of struggle, agony, and mental anguish, all to simply improve at a video game. It's a question I've asked myself many times over the last week, but in order to answer it, we need to start our story from the best place I can think of. A regular Discord call on a regular Sunday afternoon. Hello.
Hello, my brother. Do you want to play Civ?
Yeah, sure. I kind of haven't played in like 3 years though, so you'll have to hard carry me.
What's different than any other time we play?
So just like that, it was decided. We were gonna play Sid Miers' Civilization 6. And the game we were about to play was going to show me my inner potential and spark a desire to become a professional at this game. Now this is one of the world's most popular turn-based strategy games, and when it first came out, I was absolutely in love with it. I played for dozens of hours, until I kind of just got bored of it. But since then, there's been 3 major DLCs. They've added more leaders than I can count and crazy new mechanics. With so many changes, surely this was going to feel like a completely new game to me. So you can imagine my surprise when I booted it up, and the one thing that hadn't changed was the intro. Now, having just been flashbanged by the Firaxis logo that plays at God knows how many decibels, I wasn't thinking clearly.
I need you to pick who you want to play.
Yeah, just start. And I didn't even select a leader when I was in the lobby. Who am I even playing? Matthias! Oh my days.
He's so bad. He's one of the worst civs in the entire game.
Oh, okay.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
But I wasn't gonna let that bring me down. I was gonna get to work and absolutely demolish this game. Now, cities work the different tiles within your borders. They consume this food and production in order to build units, buildings, and grow in size. So in our game, I was feeling pretty happy with my capital. It wasn't the nicest, smartest, or most cultured city. It was also kind of missing the pest part. But you know what? It was my city, and I was proud. Now, after a few turns, in order to grow my empire, I needed to settle another city. So that's what I did. Because to win this game, you've got to grow your civilization.
He said it! He said it!
I was just as proud of my second city as I was my first, despite it apparently being, well, bad. Oh baby, we got Gior up and running now.
Desert cities often have 0 production.
Yeah, but I should be fine though, right?
Yeah. No.
So after a few more words of advice from Zieley, I realized if Hungary was going to survive, I needed to settle a 3rd city. So that's what I did. And just as I thought we were on the right track and everything was going amazing, things took a turn for the worse. The Aztecs had declared war on Zieley. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
And my cities were too inefficient to help. How's it possible I have 0 science and 0 culture? I then came to learn that people in your empire can begin to revolt. All my buildings are falling from loyalty. Literally every city I own.
What? How is that possible?
And their descent turned to rebellion until city by city, my people betrayed me, joining my neighbor, India. And by turn 67, my capital was ready to rebel. I might be dead. I had been defeated. Not even by the AI, but by myself. Not only was this a pathetic way to lose, but even worse, I had let my friend down. And that's why I set out on my mission, to become a pro player in 1 week. Monday. So to start this challenge, I need to establish a baseline of my skill to understand how bad I truly was at the beginning of this week. So because there's no ranking system for this game, gauging my mediocrity meant playing like 5 games and recording all the results in this lovely Notion database I made. Almost like a real scientist would, except there's no money, women, or fame associated with any of this. Now, if you've made it this far into the video and are pretty new to Civilization, you're probably wondering what constitutes an actual win. And that'll be very easy to explain because at its core, Civilization is a very simple game. The whole time, you're essentially just racing the AI to one of the victory conditions, those being domination, where you need to conquer all the other civs by force before Gandhi decides to nuke you. You can also do a cultural victory, where you have to have the most tourism on the planet. You get that by trying to convince people to vacation the beautiful city of Wuhan. Now there's the science victory also, if you're into that kind of thing, where you race the other civs to colonize an exoplanet. Then you have your diplomatic victory, where you essentially try to buy friends.
Nope.
And finally, the religious victory. Yeah, I'm kind of not really sure how the religious victory actually works, because no matter how committed I am to a peaceful religious run, that all goes out the window the minute somebody declares war on me.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
Now in reality, the victory conditions are a little bit more complicated than that, but don't worry about it because I'll fill you in on all the details when you need to know about them. So I queued up a game on Deity with the goal of trying to hit one of these victory conditions. I rolled the Khmer and started playing with a hope in my heart, a hope that I would do better than yesterday. I couldn't do worse, could I? No, it's impossible. I started exploring and quickly met my neighbor, only 10 turns in.
Hello there.
Then I met my other neighbor.
Hola a todos.
But only a few turns after that, I noticed something just a bit out of the ordinary on my border. Wait a minute. Has declared a surprise war on me. Okay, well, maybe I can defend against this. 118 to 3 military power. Okay.
Return the later.
Oh my god, this was pitiful. And by turn 20, my game was over. Was this an omen of what was to come? I had no idea. But it quite literally couldn't get any worse than that. So ever hopeful, I queued up another game. This game I played as Cyrus, found in my main city, started exploring, and then I met my neighbor. Oh, you gotta be f***ing kidding me. It was Genghis Khan. But I would go on to befriend him, convert him to a life of peace, build the most powerful empire in the world, and win the game. Yeah, no, he'd kill me like 2 turns later. Oh, well that went well. But it's fine, I queued up another game and rolled Coupe? Yeah, let's just not talk about that game. Fuck! Then I rolled my 4th game and played as the Zulu. I did some recon, I met my neighbors, the Vietnamese. Oh, she looks friendly. And was able to get down 4 whole cities before she declared war on me. And that's what I call progress.
Vietnam.
Whoa, relax. I tried my best to defend from her. Okay, where is the napalm technology? Oh, or the war crime civic would also work, I think. She would only take 2 cities. Then this Gaelic guy came out of nowhere and just cleaned me up. So the pattern became blatantly obvious to me at this point. Because my military was so weak, people were pretty much instantly declaring war on me. I suspect this didn't happen with Zieley because we were playing in a team, so our military strength was probably combined. So this time, I was gonna play, but I was gonna build more military units early to see if that helped. So I queued up for my 5th and final control game. And my start was sick. I started right next to this wonder and had these diamonds here. My capital city was really pumping. I was getting out a mix of military units and settlers to make more cities. I then met my neighbors, the Scots and the Dutch, who both almost immediately declared war on me. But this time, I was able to defend a lot better. I had a constant flow of military units from my capital that was super productive, and I had a decent amount of cities online, so I eventually switched them all over to military production. I was fending off a 2-front war. Not only that, but I was killing. I managed to make peace in both of these, even taking one of Scotland's cities. This was amazing. This was the best result I had gotten yet. And I lasted to turn 90, which was way better than yesterday. There was only one problem. Civilization is heavily built on this aspect of snowballing. If you're a little bit ahead now, then you use the mid-game to get even more ahead, and by the end game, you're just running away with it. And for my start, I spent so much effort and energy building military units and focusing on these wars that I fell crazy behind in terms of science and culture. This meant I would unlock technologies and governments way later than the AI would, and I would be playing catch-up the entire game as it got further and further ahead of me. And even though I felt like if I played just one more turn, I could catch up, there was no kidding myself. I had won those wars, but this game and my entire Monday was a complete loss. How was I ever gonna be able to beat this game on Deity? Tuesday. Now, like any good Zillennial trying to learn something, I decided to use the internet and enroll myself in the only university that would still take me. Okay, now I just gotta put in those 3 wacky numbers on the back. What the f- Hey Ma, why is your credit card not working? So after that debacle, I was gonna have to try and make a silk purse out of a sow's ear and use the second best online university, YouTube. Now, a real university would put you in a few 101 classes that specialized in different topics. And thinking back to the night before, if it had taught me anything, it was that my best game came with a really solid start. So I decided my first 101 topic would be settling my first city. And when I got home, I watched countless videos on it and took a ton of notes.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah. So here's the TLDR for you to have a super strong start. You want to settle on the most productive tile possible. The best ones are Plains Hills or Deer Plains Hills if you can find them. These will give you at least 2 food and 2 production right off the bat. The next thing you have to think about is the first ring of tiles around your city. You generally want 1 or 2 2-2 tiles. You also want to settle on fresh water because it gives you more housing. And finally, you need to factor in luxuries. If you can get a luxury online early by building on it or settling on top of it, you can start trading it for big bucks. But was any of this actually gonna help? To see, I fired up a game. So we have Plains Hills here, so I think we settle directly in place. I think if I do that, I will have access to this, which is more food. I'll have access to this later, which is a luxury. I think that's the play, maybe. Now, I know I sounded super confident in that recording, but in reality, I wasn't. So what I actually did was reload it a few times and just tried to figure out where would be the best place to settle. But how would I know if I was on the right path? Well, I took a screenshot of every single one and noted where I would settle and why. Then I figured I would post these to Reddit, and maybe, just maybe, if I wrote exactly the right title, I could get your stereotypical Civ6 Redditor to look away from their Discord long enough to correct me. While I waited though, I was gonna play another game, because I wanted to compare my results from before I received my PhD from YouTube to now. So I played as Sir Wilfrid Laurier this one, historically Canada's least racist prime minister, and we got this start. Now, this is a pretty good start considering Canada always kinda starts near tundra, and that's because pretty much everything that's not highlighted here is a desolate wasteland. Oh, hold on, let me fix that. Much better. What the hell's going on there? How did Kingston just break all of Ontario? Not even Gord Dowdy could fix that one, eh? No, so the real reason is because Canada has access to these hockey rink special buildings, and they can be built anywhere there's tundra, so anywhere here. And they provide culture and food. And if you're wondering how a hockey rink provides food, clearly you've never survived an entire Pee-wee tournament off of solely poutine and a few Michelin from the casse-croûte inside. Now, while I was playing, I wanted to institute a few other tips, namely, this guy had a couple rules of thumb.
Now the goals you want for the first 50 turns, you want to get 3 to 5 cities, 3 to 5 units, 1 friend, 2 strong cities, establish a perimeter.
And I'll save you from listening to any more of that. The 1 friend is arguably going to be the biggest challenge for me, given I never leave my house and relate to life through memes and random idioms that no one else uses. The few other tips I wanted to apply while playing were like, it's important to build monuments everywhere to boost your culture, which is just something I never did before because I thought it was a waste of time. The best governors are these 2 guys, Humangus and Pengus Munch. This guy saves you a population when you make settlers, meaning you have more tiles being worked and you're more productive. And this guy could literally double or triple your science early game.
I'm trying to figure out where I know Boss Man from.
And finally, you may have noted I have a bunch of UI mods enabled now. Now these don't change the game at all, but actually help make you more efficient in your decisions. Now this game started off really strong and my capital was especially productive. I absolutely lucked out and spawned right next to
Gilgamesh,
who, on top of being an absolute unit, I learned through a TikTok you can befriend right away. And who wouldn't want to be friends with this good old Canadian here? He looks like he should be watching hockey night, dart in one hand, Molson in the other, drunkenly slurring in your direction that he hates pennies but would use them if he was caught in the worst case Ontario. Your classic Canadian, eh? Anyways, by turn 50, I was able to get 3 to 5 cities out, and after 100 turns, I had almost triple last night's stats. But this wasn't a winning game by far. And as I fought the urge to play one more turn, I closed the chapter on day 2 and went to bed, dreaming of where I had been and where I was going.
What the hell is wrong with you? I never want to talk to you again.
Wednesday. I love Wednesdays. Mostly because I work from home, which means I can just, jiggle the old mouse a little, make sure Teams doesn't show us away. So I got up early and went right back to YouTube, doing another deep dive, this time on city planning. So here's your TLDR. In Civ 6, you have these different districts, right? They give you like different currencies and bonuses. For example, like how commercial hubs give you gold per turn, let you have more traders and more. Now, if you just pick any tile and build the district on it, I mean, it just exists. But if you look, there's a list of potential boosts you can get for your district. Like if you place a commercial hub right next to a river, you get plus 2 gold per turn. If a game lasts 250 turns, that's an extra 500 gold just for moving it over. So imagine how much better a city could be if you stack these and have a city with plus 5 gold, plus 5 science, plus 5 production. So I was about to memorize every boost for every potential district. Then I found this cheat sheet. Oh my god, it's beautiful. So now it was time to kind of implement this city planning. And boy, was I ready. But at a bit of a problem, I was working. So I worked really hard all day. I coded Ansible playbooks and different scripts, and this was some of the best coding work I had ever done. And I waited till exactly 5 p.m. to start gaming. Yep. Exactly till 5:01. Anyway, now at this point, I was locked in. I re-rolled a few times till I got a start that I really liked, and we were playing as Simon Bolivar. Simo? Simon? I don't know. I immediately settled on this luxury. Settling here would allow me to take the luxury online right away, get an extra gold. I could work this 2-2 tile here. Okay, let's settle here maybe. All that practice had paid off. I then identified a +4 campus next to these mountains. Oh baby, we were planning now. Next I met good old Harold Hardcock and traded him my luxury for a 33% increase to my gold income early game. That was pretty solid. I would later use that gold to buy a trader. Now traders are also super important because they literally give you consistent gold, food, or production per turn in whatever city they're based in, making that city an absolute powerhouse. Then Harold was pissed at me because my landlocked civilization didn't have a navy. Yeah, that makes sense. I then settled my second city and found a +3 campus there, which is when I pulled off this nifty little trick. Okay, so a campus costs 10 turns. So what I'm gonna do is clear out my production queue, use my builder to chop down this forest where I wanna place the campus, which will give me more production. And now a campus only costs 6 turns. And I'll slap that right down there. I got this Pantheon making my deer tiles so tasty. Deer tiles. And I took advantage of humongous over here.
Humongous.
Settling a third city without having to sacrifice a population, meaning this city could work more tiles and was more powerful. Next, it was time for more city planning. I spent like 5 full minutes making sure I'd get all the district adjacencies possible by crowding them in the middle here. And I kept using that chopping districts technique to get another +4 campus out. Then I upgraded Pengus and put him in my second city, giving me +6 science and culture per turn. I was building commercial districts like they were going out of style, which gave me more traders, which gave me more money, and allowed me to buy buildings. Snowballing, baby! By turn 50, I had matched the AI in science, and I was feeling on top of the world. I was even snagging free settlers from barbarians. Bro, they didn't just leave this guy here. Another one! What are they doing, bruh? Founding great cities like Comania. But then, I hit a dark age. So ages in this game are another mechanic, which I don't really totally understand if I'm being honest. But you get some era score for accomplishing different things throughout your journey, like finding natural wonders, unlocking tech boosts, things like that. And at the end of each age, depending on how many points you have, you get buffs or nerfs. For example, in my dark age, my citizens are more likely to rebel, but despite this, I focused and put my nose down and pulled through. I had my people slave away and built this wonder, the Forbidden City. Oh, beautiful. Which I learned in this video gives you an extra policy card. And why I find it so good is you can slot in this card right here for the rest of the game. Plus 100% campus district bonus adjacency. Essentially doubling all that science we got from placing our districts properly. And with more science, we could unlock more technologies, giving us more era score. And thanks to that, we hit a heroic age. Now, heroic ages are sick. They let you pick 3 out of these 4 buffs here. Not only that, but it allows your peasants to be so happy they exert pressure on neighboring cities. And upset that Alexander the Great was in a dark age, all his peasants wanted to rebel. The only option he had was to declare war on me. Oh no! Declares a formal war against me. Oh, that just went bad real quick. But I was a freight train no one could stop. One of his cities would just rebel and flip over to me. I'll take that. Then I would take I gave by force. Oh baby, now our empire was expanding, but these new cities were already developed, giving me more campuses, more science, and helping us grow exponentially. And I then discovered rocketry, which is when I decided that's the victory condition we were gonna go with, science. But there was a problem with this too. I had no idea how to actually win a science victory. You know, I knew you kind of had to build a spaceport, so I did that. And then I knew you had to launch a rocket, so I did that. Then I didn't win. And I didn't have the option to launch another rocket. So I had no idea what I had to do. So I just kept killing.
Oh boy.
Murdering Alexander, taking more cities, gaining more science, and growing stronger. Every now and then I'd check back to my spaceport city, and there'd be another option to launch a rocket. So I would, and I did that over and over and over again. And after 5 times, all of the sudden, out of nowhere, as I'm absolutely rubbing Alexander's face in the mud, I had won. I was so preoccupied with this war that I didn't even notice I had won, really. I actually couldn't believe it. I felt like a Civ6 expert. I had beaten Deity after 3 days of non-stop watching YouTube videos, taking notes, studying different players, and practicing. And if I was really gonna impress Zieley, I was gonna have to take it one step further. Little did I know I was about to make the biggest mistake of my career. That evening, like every evening since I was 6, I'd head out onto the veranda, sit down on the Chesterfield, and wait for my dad to come home. I wonder if the smokes in Saskatchewan really are that much better. As I waited, enjoying the brisk Ottawa summer's eve, I sat proud of what I had done, wondering what was next. And as I watched the local kids play street hockey, I thought about things. I thought about how much I hate pennies. Then I thought about what could be better than beating the world's best AI at Civilization 6. And I also thought, why was that tennis ball getting bigger? Then it hit me. Beating the world's best Civ6 YouTuber. That was the only thing better than beating the AI. So I sent out an email, and a single reply would change everything. Thursday. I was feeling pretty great after my previous day's win. I had a professional game lined up. What more could I need or want? Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock, Potato McWhiskey is an absolute rock star of the Civilization 6 world. From humble beginnings back in 2016.
Hey guys, welcome to Let's Play Sid Miers Civilization 6 with me, Potato McWhiskey.
His passion for the game and dedication to YouTube quickly led to him becoming one of the most revered and knowledgeable players on the planet.
Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome.
So I had to prepare for the ultimate challenge, a 1v1. And I was gonna do that by practicing this game as much as possible before then. But first, I checked my Reddit post and I guess my title worked because my sweaty friends over at Reddit had not only doubled my Reddit karma, but also gave me a ton of answers on where to settle. So originally I'd given them these screenshots with the letters on it, and then I kind of went through their responses and compare my results with theirs. To be honest, this wasn't super helpful. Some of these data points were a bit murky, some more than others, but my results were always within the top 2 answers people gave on Reddit. And when you consider half the people on Reddit have no idea what they're talking about anyways, and that I now had an IQ of over 200, I basically concluded that I was a genius. Still feeling amazing, I queued up another game. This game, I rolled Tamiris, so I settled here. A mediocre start, but then I set up 3 cities and planned out an amazing cluster of districts for insane boosts. And by turn 100, I had built those districts and matched the AI in science. I was feeling like a Civ6 god. But then I kept playing and, some things happened and I'm not quite sure what went wrong. But I hit a dark age, I got preoccupied with a city-state war I couldn't win for some reason, and I fell way behind in science. It was just a mess. I had to try and reel it in, so I focused on getting a spaceport. I took some time and figured out the technologies I needed in the right order to launch rockets, and I got a rocket out.
Let's go.
But then, loss.
Oh, what the hell? Defeat.
After 4 hours of gameplay, coming so close to finishing, The Empire of the Congo has won a science victory. I had just lost. You see, losing a game of Civ is just like losing a game of chess. Except in this game, you can get checkmated on your first turn and only find out after 4 hours of gameplay, which is so much more devastating. I was upset, but I couldn't let this one game set me too far back. So, I queued up another game, with hope in my heart again. This time, as Alexander the Great. And this game, it wouldn't go so great if I'm being honest. I would settle one city, then a second, then a third, then a fourth. It was coming along until I met these barbarians. So many barbarians. And they were everywhere. It got to the point I would settle a city and they would just destroy it 2 turns later. Okay, barbarians just killed this entire city of mine. Unbelievable. They would steal settlers, take builders, had way better tech than me, and every time I thought I almost dealt with them, there were more. Aw, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And it was at this point I spent 2 full hours playing one more turn, trying to claw my way back. Until I got to the point that I fell so far behind the AI while dealing with them, this game was gone. Yeah, resigned. Maybe if I wasn't getting fucked in the ass by barbarians the entire fucking goddamn time. And this was one of my worst performances yet, even after all my training. And I knew tomorrow was going to be especially difficult. Friday. That morning, I woke up, stressed and disillusioned. But the night before, something interesting had happened. Right before bed, I watched a couple YouTube videos like I normally do. And what came up in one of those videos but mention of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, this is this concept where when you learn something new, there are stages of kind of confidence and ability you go through. When you first start learning something, your stages of confidence go way up, even though you have virtually 0 ability. Now, I could tell this is exactly where I was when I beat the AI kind of by fluke and challenged Potato to a duel. What they call this little peak here is the peak of Mount Stupid. And boy, oh boy, when you pass that peak and learn just a little bit more about the game, well, then comes the biggest hit to your morale. You begin to realize how little skill you actually have compared to those professionals, and your soul is crushed until you reach the Valley of Despair. And that's exactly where I was after all those losses. Low confidence, low skill, and high pressure on a tight deadline. To get out of it, I needed a plan. Now, I knew all of Friday I was in the office, and in the evening we had some office summer barbecue thing. So I basically had my commute, lunch, and dinner to come up with a plan. Now, I couldn't play, but I could look up the most meta strategy, and hopefully, by some miracle or fluke, I might just be able to compete with Potato tomorrow and not embarrass myself. So that's exactly what I did. And luckily, I found an amazing strategy with the Gauls. I covertly researched this meta strategy all day, and as I ate my mother's famous pasta dish for lunch, I wrote down notes on how to execute it. Now for the build order, you get a scout to run out and get era score by finding city-states and natural wonders. That way you can hit a golden age. You get a settler, a builder to make mines, which for this guy are overpowered. Then you pick up another settler, the whole time researching ironworking in your tech tree, giving you the Celt Special District. Then as soon as you pick up craftsmanship in the civics, you slap in a Gauge, allowing you to make units way more efficiently, and you're almost ready to start killing. Once we do that, we put down 3 of our special buildings, the Oppidum, giving us insane boost to our production. Then you drop an encampment right in the opponent's face, and boom. Then you can start spamming and chopping out men-at-arms with Magnus, rushing your opponent with a mega death ball of units, until you take his capital and win the game. Now this was one of the most meta strategies out there, but would I, a guy who just lost to barbarians, be able to pull it off against a player with over 4,000 hours of experience? Only time will tell. That night, I went to my work event, and I don't know if it was the nerves for the next day, or if it was the fact my boss kept coming around with free drink tickets, but I drank, and drank, and drank. And with every single one of my work colleagues, we got hammered. Knowing I had a big day tomorrow, I made my way home. But I was so drunk, I rode the metro in the opposite direction to my house. And it was as I took the train further and further from the point to where I lived, I realized I was totally screwed for the next day. Playing a professional, with a strategy I hadn't practiced, and I was gonna be really hungover. Whoa, big day today. This was it, my one shot, my one opportunity to become a professional Civ6 gamer. My palms were sweaty, but I'm pretty sure that was just because I was super hungover. My knees were weak, my arm, oh, what the fuck is this? Some kind of Italian cuisine, maybe? What is that on my flannel already? Ugh. Okay, no more mucking about. I got a Discord call to get in. Hello.
What's up, Chieftain?
How's it going, Potato?
It is going good. I, Potato McWhiskey, have just subscribed to my new favorite YouTuber, the Ottawa Welshman. I highly encourage people to like and subscribe to his channel.
Wow, that is so kind of you to say. I am extremely honored to have you here today.
Not a problem, your videos always slap. How
are you?
I'm great. Like, I'm so happy that, you know, we were doing this together. Like, I really appreciate you doing this. But yeah, it's an honor for me. And after a few more formalities, we were ready to hop into a match. So I've beat the game with science, and I guess to kind of cap it off, I want to get like a second victory condition. So I've been trying to beat it with culture.
Liar! That's a hard one.
Yeah, maybe that was a little dishonest to say when I was going for domination victory, but I had to do whatever it took to win. I know, yeah. So I've been playing the Gaelic guy.
Gaul?
Yeah. And in editing this video, I realized why there was a giant pause there. Oh, I'm gonna get roasted for this. I also realized there's probably two camps my audience fit in right now. The one that thought it was completely fine that I called this guy Gaelic at least 3 times so far in this video, and the other that's been screaming at their monitor that I'm an idiot. But to be fair, that should have gone without question. Moving on.
I'm gonna random. That's how confident I am. But I'm pretty confident that I can beat you. Oh, let me tell you, buddy. I am Mr. Civilization, okay? Mr. Worldwide. In the Church of Civ, there's Sid Miers, there's Ed Beach, and then there's me, okay? That's how that goes.
Okay. Talking a big game, I feel like I'm gonna get destroyed here. But it didn't matter what trash talk he had. I'd been preparing all week, and I was dialed in. So I immediately settled in place. It was next freshwater and insane tiles. A god tier start from a food perspective. I then built my scout and rushed him west, because I knew that's where he was. And I was right, he was right there.
Well, hello there. Have you discovered my huge advantage?
Your huge advantage? The giant volcano that's spewing everywhere? Is that it?
Oh, he hasn't seen it.
Now, I didn't fully understand it at the time, but he had this wonder, which was insanely overpowered. And a volcano, which would improve his tiles each turn. But I went to go settle my second city, staying locked in and focused on my goal. Next, I started micromanaging my city, making sure my citizens worked tiles which gave more production instead of food, allowing me to build quicker instead of taller. Everything was going according to plan, until he forward settled me, occupying the territory directly next to me, to give my people less living space. Now this worried me a lot. It meant he was coming to kill me immediately. I was nervous. Then, he said something that worried me.
Keep an eye on your military score so it doesn't get up too high.
Was he on to me? I pressed forward and went to settle my third city.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I got an overpowered start. If you can beat me when I get an overpowered start, then you'll know you're a true gamer.
I'm quite the gamer. And being the gamer I was, I pressed on, knowing something good was about to happen. And that's when I found this insane deer tile, 5 production. I have no idea why this existed, but I settled right next to it, and got the Goddess of the Hunt Pantheon, making all my camps even better. This was huge, but could it be enough to turn the tide of war? I picked up craftsmanship and slapped in a Goje, and I also had an urban planning for boost to my production. I was ready to make a huge shift in my economy when I saw this. He was amassing units on my border. Was he getting ready to attack? Were his troops merely passing through? Or was I doomed before I could execute my plan?
The thing is, your little Gazete are actually like slightly stronger than my units right now. Because you have that King of the Eberonis trait, right? That gives you +2 combat strength or whatever from every adjacent ally.
Yeah, I think that's like a good war one, right? I haven't gotten into too many wars with this guy. It was technically true. I had never actually gotten into a war with him. Although, I did know that he had insane boosts with his military from grouping units together. Potato was definitely starting to get suspicious of me now. Regardless, I hit ironworking and started shifting my entire economy to production, slapping down my 3 oppidums. And the beautiful thing about ironworking as the Gauls, it automatically unlocks this men-at-arms tech. No other civs have this, meaning I now had access to an overpowered early game unit. It was all coming together. I switched my citizens to prioritizing food so we could start growing and getting that insane science boost from Pengala. We were flying now. Next, I built a trader to help sustain my economy and drop my encampment right in the face of Potato. Then I started with my first men-at-arms unit as I hit a golden age.
Oh shit, you got a golden age. Oh man. It's looking grim for me, dude.
And as I moved my first men-at-arms to the front line.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, you're doing a man-at-arms rush. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah, I got some men-at-arms going.
Have you tried this against a player before? The player's not like the AI.
Well, I will say this, Potato. The player, it might be different than the AI, so like we'll have to play a little differently. Oh no! What luck! Unreal! My opening war move failed.
Look, dude, I was double fortified on defensive terrain.
Was it all going to fall apart now? Was I in over my head? I had to buckle down.
Oh, that's cheeky though. I like it.
So I started harvesting resources for gold and upgrading some of my units, and slowly started chipping away at his front line. It was starting to work. I couldn't believe it, and I could hear it in his voice.
Oh my god, you've got 16 science? Where are you getting 16 science from? Holy Jesus.
This guy is good at science. I just had to keep pressing.
I don't feel dead yet.
I feel dead every day. But I marched to his closest city regardless, and tried my hand at attacking. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Look at that slam! Big! Oh mama, Yoko mama was mine, baby! I was rolling.
A one-shot fortified defensive terrain. How long can you sustain that economy? Wait, you're positive gold? How the hell? What the heck?
And my mega death ball of units was unstoppable. And with just a few more turns, the capital was mine. The only question now was, how would he take this loss?
Well played. I give you 5 stars out of 5. You have demonstrated essentially what is the Queen's Gambit of Civ 6.
Well, thank you.
No, really well done. I did not see that coming at all. You beat me fair and square.
Yeah, but I don't know about the fair and square part.
Okay, sorry. Let me change. You're a cheating son of a bitch. How dare you bait me into this to try to make me look bad in front of your fans? What the hell is wrong with you? I never want to talk to you again. Does that make you feel better?
So can I bring somebody into the call?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So I have a bit of a confession to make.
Is this like a? Oh my god, he's one of the.
I am a liar. This video didn't start on a Sunday. It started when I messaged Potato asking if he'd be willing to be in my 7 days to go pro at Civilization 6 video. And after being left on red twice, I finally heard back. He agreed to 1v1 me at the end of the week. A little boss battle. Allows you guys to watch and laugh as I struggle, allows him to get some exposure to my little audience, and I get a structure to my video. Apparently I'm 12. Win, win, win. That was a lot better. Now, the rest of the video was pretty legit, right? Zieley actually called me to play a game. I actually got a total fluke win on Wednesday. God knows how I did that. You know, I embellished a little bit about the email, but that was just to be a little bit provocative.
Gets the people going.
And I actually did get wrecked by barbarians and realized I was completely doomed for my final match. But here's where the story takes a bit of a turn. I decided instead of getting absolutely destroyed by my newfound Irish friend, I was gonna beat him by any means necessary. My plan? Find the world's best Civ 6 player and cheat my ass off. But that was easier said than done. How the heck do you do that? Well, first I reached out to other YouTubers like Ursa Ryan and Bose. They both left me on red. Then I joined every Civ Discord I could and asked in there. But you can imagine the kind of responses I got. And ultimately, I went back to Reddit. I know. But, hold on. Enhance? What is that? Actual advice? Did you know there was a Civ 6 pro scene? Cause I didn't. So I joined the Civ 6 World Cup Discord and messaged the organizer. Now they gave me a few names, one of whom was Ulhas, captain of the French team Ferritos de la Vega. Now these guys won last year's Civ World Cup and he agreed to jump in a Discord call.
Hello.
Hey, ça va?
Ça va et toi?
Yeah, pas pire, man. A couple months back, I did a video about trying to go pro in Age of Empires. I want to do the same kind of thing with Civ6. So what I'm looking for is kind of a pro to work with me.
I think I could do that, but I think I know the perfect person to do that with you. His name is Bartsake.
Enter Bartsake. One of the world's best Civilization 6 players. Not only has he won the Civ World Cup, he's also won the French LAN tournament and currently holds the world record for a science victory in multiplayer. So I was cooking up a plan and I was told you might be the perfect person.
Yeah, okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and you would be interested in helping with that?
Yes, yes, of course.
So I had my pro, and he had a plan.
If you want to beat him at war, maybe it will be very good that we do like a coaching session before the game.
Now, we met for an hour, and I took away tactics, strategies, and tips I had never heard before. I came to find out they're only used by some of the world's best players. So right now, I'm gonna distill it down to a few key tips and tricks that anyone can use to get a lot better, a lot quicker. And the first thing he mentioned?
Do you know like how to settle your first city?
Yeah, so I know a little bit about starts, but I'm not like a pro at it. That's not what my Reddit karma said, but anyways, moving on, the next big thing to focus on in his opinion.
Okay, so there is a lot of micromanagement that you can do, and it's almost the same thing with every Civ.
Now, this is a super complex topic, and we didn't go super in depth with it, but really micromanaging what tiles your population is working allows you to be more efficient at whatever your strategy dictates.
You want to balance your yield depending on how fast you want your production to finish.
Do you need to grow faster? Do you need to get more units out quicker? Well, you would want to prioritize food and production respectively. Pros do this almost every turn in the early game to optimize.
One of the things that you will do is you pin the map.
Now, because of a glitch in the minimap, if you pin the top and bottommost parts of the map, the next turn, it expands, and you know exactly where you started.
We know that I am the east part of the map. I'm not sending any scout on the west part because I'm pretty sure my opponent is on the east part.
I then built my scout and rushed him west, because I knew that's where he was. Now, these next few tips are game changers, and when combined together, make you unstoppable. And the first is a hidden mechanic in the game no one will tell you about, giving you 40% off every time you build a district. Here's how. If you add up the number of districts you've researched, divide that number by the number of districts you've completed building, if that adds up to 1 or more, for whatever reason, the turn after you unlock a new tech, you get a 40% reduction when placing a new district. This allows you to build way faster and outpace your opponent.
So let me show you again. We have discovered 3 districts, but we built 3. So 25, 46. We finish archery next turn, and boom, 28.
Then I also learned you can stack your production from turn to turn by not building anything.
Since we want Oppidum as fast as possible, we will just shift enter. This is common strategy on multiplayer even.
And with those tips, you could build a civilization that was rolling, and we just had to combine that with one last concept: combat strength, great people, and city projects. Now, these projects help you get great people points. And I know we haven't really talked about great people, because before the strategy, I only really used them by fluke, but essentially you accumulate great people points by doing different things, like building buildings or running projects like this, and the first player to X amount of points can unlock the next great person. And this first great general gives you +5 combat strength for classical era units. And we already know Gaul has the King of the Eberones trait. By default, a man-at-arms unit has 45 strength. Surround that by a great general and just a handful of units, and you can get over 56. And when compared to a normal warrior's 20, you're in the money.
A one-shot fortified defensive terrain. I am impressed.
And at the end of the hour, he summarized our plan of attack.
We will go scout, settler, builder to make some mine. When we get craftsmanship, we will put agoge. Once we get everything, we put down the free oppidum. In our second city, we will make an encampment in the face of Potato.
What, did you think I came up with that all by myself? Next, I built a trader.
And then from this point, we will push him with a giga death ball of units, and he will just not be able to defend.
So I had my new pro tips, I had my strategy. My confidence was growing, but it just wasn't there yet. So we cooked up a plan. Man, this session's been so helpful, and I feel like I got so much better. But I gotta be honest with you, I think he's still gonna kill me. Would you be willing to coach me live without him knowing?
Yeah, sure.
So I set up 2 separate Discord calls. Now you think this would be easy, a professional in your ear telling you exactly what to do, but there were some unexpected issues. The first of which being the fact I'd have to talk to both of them at once.
I am Mr. Civilization, okay?
Talking a big game, I feel like I'm gonna get destroyed here.
Why?
Remember, I could hear Potato, Potato could hear me, I could hear Bartsake, and Bartsake could hear me, but neither of them could hear each other. It was my thought process that having two people talk to me at once wouldn't be an issue. You see, I'm already used to the voices in my head.
I love Civilization 6.
Nightmare.
Uh,
But it was surprisingly more difficult than you'd think.
With your mana down? One, the two, one. Look at the slam on the campment.
Now compound that with the voices and I was completely screwed.
With your mana down? One, the two, one. Look at the slam on the campment.
Now, I've been watching Potato for years, and just talking to him was amazing. Him giving me YouTube advice was even crazier.
Inside of every YouTuber, there are two wolves. One wolf that wants to make the content that makes them money, and the other wolf that wants to make the content that you want to make.
And as interesting as this was, to hear from one of my idols, I could not focus on this conversation to save my life.
But yeah, what about you? So, how did you get into content?
Yeah, let me... Oh.
You've got 10 seconds to answer.
Fuck, man, it's so hard to talk and do this. Oh my god. In my defense, though, this is what I heard.
Yeah, what about you? So, how did you get into content?
Everything going according to plan, man. Okay, so now you go on your truffle on the right. Yes. You work your mine. Make sure you work the mine with the city and go forward. No, with your warrior, go to your builder. Yes, go to him.
You've got 10 seconds to answer.
And Pingala capital.
It's so hard to talk and do this. And I had all these questions I wanted to ask him. Like, did he know he was a tuber? Potatoes. But I couldn't remember to ask him that because I was so preoccupied with trying to beat him.
I see that you've got hands.
I got hands like feet. But just in general, my game was a mess. Sometimes I'd ask him questions when I meant to ask my coach. Where do I put my buildings?
You're asking me that.
By the desert case.
Other times I could answer him, but would do the wrong thing.
We got a little bit of a cold war. Like, I'm gonna make it a hot war. I'm gonna spend some money to.
No. Okay, well we could go tit for tit, eh? Oh no!
Whoa.
Okay, actually.
Why would you buy a mountain, dude?
I'm not gonna lie. I had the mouse clicked, and I'm like, how do I not do this right now? And sometimes I was trying to do both at once, and completely forgot how to read.
The goddess of the hunt.
Because the people really love to see me have the excitement and joy.
The goddess of the hunt.
And also, that increases the
goddess of the hunt
brand value of my channel for advertisers.
Goddess of the hunt.
Oh, Potato McWhiskey, he's like playing all these
it's
games.
One food, one production for camp.
And now they're like, we want to pay
goddess of the
big
hunt.
money to play our game.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. Regardless, my coach was phenomenal and reassured me when things got tough. Oh no.
Oh, don't worry. You go up with your settler.
And he was really starting to pump my tires when things were going well.
Man, I bet he's shitting his pants.
And when all was said and done, I think we were both really proud.
First move. Yeah, first move. GG, man.
But how would Potato react to me having just duped him?
Oh my god, he's one of the CPL guys. Oh.
Yes.
I was wondering, I was like, he's playing like so well. What the hell? You know, Bartsake is actually one of the best pro players in the game. You got like literally one of the best Civ6 multiplayer players in the game to fight a guy who plays exclusively against the AI.
Hey, I had to do something.
But I literally had the most broken start ever. Mount Roraima, I had a volcano erupting, like one of the most broken starts that you could probably find in a 1v1 duel, and you still annihilated me.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, man.
So I figured out how to beat Civ6 on the hardest difficulty. I discovered one of the world's best multiplayer strategies, met some amazing people from across the planet, became one of the world's most famous Redditors, and ultimately learned when I'm backed into a corner, I will resort to cheating my ass off. Now, all that was left to do was close out the week by playing one more turn.
Hello?
Hello, champion. I was calling to see if you'd like to play a little bit of Civilization.
I love Civilization 6.
Okay, the real reason I was calling was just to get that soundbite.
I thought so.
And if you like this video, I'm sure you're gonna love when I tried to go pro at Age of Empires 2. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.